One of the most active Arab envoys is Jordan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi, who joins us now from Amman. Welcome, Minister Safadi.
Thank you, Lyse. Good morning.
Can it really be said to be the last chance when doing a deal is so important?
The last chance have been months in the making. Every day that passes by without an end to this aggression means that more people are being killed and the threat of regional escalation becoming more real. So it must happen, a ceasefire must happen, an end of aggression must materialize as soon as possible, because failure to do so is going to mean more death, more killing, more destruction of Gaza, and more possibilities for the all-out regional escalation that none of us want.
Is it the last chance because of what's expected to be, at some point, a retaliation from Iran and its ally Hezbollah for the killing of a Hezbollah commander and Hamas's political leader in Tehran? Is that what you heard from them when you yourself went to Tehran?
Look, there are two different things here. I think the most important thing is to stay focused on the real issue, is that while we all do not want a regional escalation, and we must also keep our eyes on what's happening in Gaza. The killing continues, the destruction continues. This is where the real tragedy is, and that's what the whole world should be focused on doing, stop the aggression on Gaza. As far as Iran is concerned, we've obviously condemned the killing of Haniya, the head of the political bureau of Hamas, as a criminal escalatory act. In Jordan, we do not want escalation. We're trying to figure out a way in cooperation with all our partners to make sure this escalation does not happen. And the only conclusion, the only way we believe to prevent escalation is to stop the killing on Gaza, is to stop the aggression on Gaza, and then give everybody a chance to say, enough is enough. Let's all protect Palestinian lives, and let's all protect the region from falling into the abyss of regional war. So again, the priority must be the end of aggression on Gaza. And we believe that if a ceasefire is reached, if the aggression ends, we believe that the threat of regional escalation will go down significantly.
Just one last question on Iran. Since you yourself went to Tehran, you were actually the first Iranian official in a decade to go to the Iranian capital. Did you leave convinced that if there is a ceasefire deal, Iran would not retaliate?
Look, I will not speak for the Iranians, but what I would say is that our impression is that the focus is on ending the aggression. And if there is an end to the aggression, if there is a ceasefire, we believe that everybody will want to protect that ceasefire, because that would mean protecting Palestinian lives and protecting the region as well. So yes, I believe if we get a ceasefire, then the threat of escalation will really diminish.
You follow these talks very closely. We hear from President Joe Biden that they have never been so close. And yet the statements from Hamas and from Israel indicate that they believe they're still far apart. How close are they?
Look, we've been to the door and back so many times before, Lyse. So again, we all support a ceasefire. We appreciate the efforts of Egypt, Qatar, and the United States to do so. But again, we've got to ask the question, why have we not had a ceasefire thus far? All indications are that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has blocked that ceasefire, and that's what Israeli officials themselves are saying. So I think whoever wants a ceasefire should focus on pressuring the party that is not allowing it to happen. And there's, again, evidence to support that it is Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu who is preventing the area from getting out of this nightmare, and therefore the pressure should be on him to have that ceasefire. That said, please, irrelevant of the discussions taking place in Qatar and Egypt, the reality is there is no reason to continue with the aggression on Gaza right now. I mean, you've just heard the report from UNRWA staffer on the ground. There is absolute horror in Gaza, the victims of which are innocent people. That horror has to stop. And ending that horror is a decision by the Israeli Prime Minister and his cabinet. So they've got to do that. Otherwise, they are the ones responsible, not only for the massacres that are taking place in Gaza, but also for pushing the region towards the abyss. And let's remember...
Just remember that there, obviously, you need two parties to make peace. You talked about pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu. But what about the new hardline political leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, who is widely regarded as the mastermind of the October 7th attacks? What are you hearing? Does he really believe it's time to make a deal?
Look, I mean, again, what we're hearing from all our partners who are engaged in the negotiations is that they're putting tremendous amount of effort to bring about that ceasefire. I think when it comes to Hamas, and again, I do not speak for Hamas, but I think they represent a political line. They have their own position. So I think whether it's Haniya or whether it's Sinwar, the fact that a ceasefire is needed is something that everybody realizes. So I really do not think that the position of Hamas vis-a-vis the ceasefire has changed as a result of the assassination of Haniya and Sinwar taking over. I think they speak with the same position there.
If Prime Minister Netanyahu, if the Israelis don't become more flexible, what more would a country like Jordan do? As you remember, in the months after the Gaza war erupted, you pulled back your ambassador from Israel. You and Egypt are the were the first two Arab countries to have a peace deal with Israel. And there was a hint, well, we could suspend that deal. Are you thinking of what tools you could use?
Obviously, we are, Elise, and not just
you are. In what sense?
Obviously, we are
canceling the peace treaty, or what would be?
Look, I mean, again, we're looking at what can help. We're looking at what's effective, what can really end this massacre in Gaza, and also end the escalatory measures on the West Bank as well. We'll do whatever we believe will help achieve that and will help achieve the just and lasting peace that we want. So, but again, we're looking at all our options, including legal options. And if you allow me a minute here, Lyse, it's not just Gaza. It's the West Bank. It's what's happening with the West Bank. There is a war on Palestinians at the West Bank. Look at the number of settlements that are being built, almost a 30-year high in the amount of land confiscation and land grabs that are taking place. Settlements for the first time, new settlements are being built. Violations of the status quo of the holy sites, Muslim and Christian, in Al-Aqsa. And this is something that will have consequences. And we're saying very, very clearly, we're looking at all our options to stand up to that and prevent Israel from also pushing the West Bank into the abyss of total chaos and basically exploding. So,
but after the last horrific attack on a village of Jit, the Israeli Prime Minister, the president, came out very quickly and condemned it. Do you see a change?
No, I do not, because on the ground, we've had an average of 7 settler terrorist attacks on Palestinians on the West Bank since April. So settler terrorism is continuing, protected by Israeli occupation forces. Words do not matter. What matters is what we see on the ground. What we see on the ground are a number of areas in which Israel is basically pushing the West Bank to explode. They're suffocating the PNA financially. They're conducting security attacks into population centers. They're allowing settler terrorism to continue again on an unprecedented level. They're confiscating Palestinian lands in ways that we haven't seen in 30 years. They're allowing new settlements to be built again in ways that we have not seen in decades. The total sum of that, and of course, in addition to over 30,000 violations of the status quo in the holy sites of Jerusalem over the last year. All this says that Israel is systematically pushing for the West Bank to explode. And as I said, we in Jordan are looking at all our options, particularly when it comes to Al-Aqsa and the holy sites, both the Muslim and Christian holy sites. We're looking at all our options, including we're readying legal files now to go to international courts to stop what we believe is not only illegal violations, but very, very dangerous escalatory measures. If Israel pushes the West Bank...
we'll have to leave it there, Minister Safadi. I'm so sorry, but I think you've made it absolutely clear your concerns about the occupied West Bank and Jerusalem and some suggestions of what can be done. Ayman Safadi, thank you.